Hey guys, it's Jenni L. Walsh, and I am so excited to be spending a couple minutes with you guys on World Read Aloud Day 2021. I'm going to be talking a little bit about this book here, answering some of the most common questions that I get, and also talking about some cool books that I would love for you guys to check out as well. So this book, I Am Defiance, is actually coming out and releasing like right now. It's brand new, and I'm so excited to share it with you guys. So it's set during the Second World War, and it's about this girl right here named Bridget. Now, what was very interesting about this book is that Bridget is a young German girl. That's not a perspective we typically see in World War II stories. So I was so excited to learn more about her and her perspective and what this could bring to the story. Now, when Bridget was 3 years old, that is when Adolf Hitler came to power. So her whole life, she has been taught to trust Hitler, to trust his plan for her country, and to go along with everything he says, never to question anything. But then things start happening, and Bridget starts asking questions. And what sparks all of this is a resistance group called the White Rose. Now, this is a real resistance group from the Second World War. Pretty cool, right? And what's also really cool about the White Rose is that it was student led. Very cool, right? Now, what the White Rose was doing was they were writing these leaflets, these pamphlets, these letters, and they were mailing them to houses across Germany. Now, what they wanted to do in these leaflets was educate people in Germany that what Adolf Hitler wanted to do wasn't good, and they had to take a stand. So the thing with these leaflets, though, is that even receiving one in the mail could get your family in a lot of trouble because people might start to wonder, wait a minute, is that family opposing Hitler and the Nazi Party? And that would be a very bad thing because anyone who opposed Hitler or the Nazi Party got in some major trouble. So Bridget's family starts to receive these leaflets. So she's nervous, she's scared, she's confused, and she starts to ask questions. And she starts to see that maybe her dad and her older sister Angelica might agree with the White Rose. And as she starts talking to her dad and her sister, she starts to get really nervous about something else too. Now, a couple years prior, Bridget's older sister Angelica got really sick. She got really sick with a disease called polio. Now, her dad told Bridget not to tell anybody that Angelica had gotten sick. So Bridget had to lie to her family, her friends, anyone that she came in contact with. And then when she started to ask these questions, she realized why. And it's because when Angelica got sick, her left side of her body from the polio was damaged. And Hitler didn't want damaged people in his country because it didn't align with what he saw as his perfect master race. So Bridget learns that Angelica's safety might be at risk if Hitler learns that her left side doesn't work the same way as her right. So Bridget's world is being open to so many different things right now, and she has very tough choices to make. And in the end, she's gonna have to take a really big stand. And I can't wait for you guys to read this and learn more about Bridget and her story and her family and all of it. It's a really fun story to read, and I hope you guys really like it. So I'm actually gonna read a little bit here that aligns kind of with what I was just talking about to give you guys a taste of the story. So let me get to the page. Okay, one more second. I apologize if you can hear my family in the background as I dive into this. Okay. I stare at our mailbox, wondering if yesterday's leaflet will be followed by another one today. I convince myself, yes. And then I convince myself that the mailbox is booby trapped. I imagine it all. I'll open the box, I'll touch the envelope of the leaflet number 2, and when I do, my hand will get stuck to it, as if there's invisible glue or as if someone put a magical spell on it. I'll yank my hand out of the mailbox, but the envelope will tag along. No level of shaking or wiggling or wrenching will get the thing off. Then everyone will know. They'll all know that my family got one of the anti-Nazi pamphlets. They'll think we are against the Nazi Party. We'll be taken away just like the Vogels. I shiver at my colorful foreboding, just as my neighbor says, "Afternoon, Bridget." I jump and squeak out a hello.
Frau Roth reaches into the mailbox beside ours, humming. She takes out her mail.
Is Angelica feeling better? Her smile is so sweet, I'm afraid I'll get a cavity. What? I say loudly, too loudly. Why? Oh, I saw her limping the other day, that's all. I figured she took a tumble. I did myself just the other day when I was going down to the cellar to fetch something. I lick my lips. Oh, yes, she's all better. Did she fall? I'm tempted to take another sneeze, but this time the lie comes out quicker. She did. She was studying really hard while walking down the stairs of the university, and she missed a step. But I got her some ice, and now she's all fine. Such good girls you both are. She grabs my chin and squeezes. Now you have a good evening, Bridget. I mumble a goodbye. After she leaves, I wipe the sweat from my forehead. I'm about to leave too, but then I realize the mail. I still haven't gotten it. But cheer Frau Roth left unscathed from getting her mail. There was nothing that looked troubling inside, no second leaflet. Though perhaps the white rose didn't send her anything. I could simply go inside and let Papa get the mail. But what if there is something from the white rose and someone other than me finds it? No, I need to get the mail. And if there is something unspeakable, and if it doesn't stick to me, I'll get rid of it. Even Papa and Angelica won't know. If I dust it in catnip, it won't stand a chance against my cat, Tiger Lily. I count down from 3. Then, as quickly as possible, I grab whatever's in the mailbox. I don't even look. Then I skedaddle inside, like I've just committed a heinous crime when all I did was get the mail. Still, I practically run past my neighbor's closed door and into our apartment. I've never felt happier to be home alone with Tiger Lily and our 100 plants. My cat circles me like a shark. I risk looking at the mail in my hands, so completely and utterly relieved when I don't see anything beyond our normal invoices and catalogs. My plan to throw the new mail on top of the old mail, but then when I see the pile, I can't seem to go near it. What if Papa didn't look at it and the first white rose envelope is still there? What if I stop acting paranoid? No one is going to jump out and scream, "Aha, I caught you red handed." I approach, but the envelope is gone. So, just a little taste of I Am Defiance. I hope you'll check it out. But for now, I want to move on to some questions that I typically get from students. Hey friends, so I wanted to answer the top 3 questions that I generally get. Now, the first question is typically, did you always want to be a writer? And it's kind of a yes and a no. So, when I was around your guys' age, I loved to write short stories and poetry, but I never actually thought, I want to write an entire full length book. But I always loved being creative. And I knew I wanted to do something creative as far as a job when I grew up. And I eventually became a copywriter. Now, if you're not familiar with a copywriter, totally cool. A lot of people aren't. It's kind of a big fancy word, but all it really means is that I would write any words you see in a TV commercial or you would hear on a radio ad or in a magazine, a headline. So any of those things in an advertisement with words is what a copywriter puts together. I enjoyed being a copywriter a lot, and I think it actually sparked my desire to be an author because writing short little clips made me want to be like interested in how it all fit together, and it helped my mind work and organizing it all. And I was like, wow, like writing a book could be a lot of fun. So I tried it. The first time it wasn't very good. I'll be completely honest. My first book I wrote, no one's going to see it. Don't even ask to see it, please. My second book, same. No one's going to see it. But you know what? I got better and I really learned that I loved writing books. So I kept writing, and now I have 4 books published, and I have one more that I just announced, and then maybe another one that I'm going to announce soon. So, did I always want to be a writer? No, but I'm very glad that I'm eventually here. I love telling stories to you guys. Now, the second question that I always get is what inspires me in my books and what to write the topics that I write about. And I'm so inspired by the people and the places that have come before us. There's real life and real figures from our history really intrigue me, and I love to learn more about them. So far, I have books about Malala and Bethany Hamilton and the London Blitz and now the White Rose, and another one about Sybil Ludington, who is a hidden war hero of the Revolutionary War. So it's so fun for me to learn about them and figure out a cool and fresh and fun way to tell these stories about things that came before us in history. The last question I always get is, how long does it take to write these books? Now, I will say that I think that varies. And I think you guys can relate this to your own works and assignments. So sometimes you have a deadline, and that's as long as you get to write it, right? Other times you have a little bit more time and the end date's more flexible, and you can take a little bit longer with things. Now, I Am Defiance, this one took around 9 months for me to research and write and then go through all the revisions with my editor. Whereas my book about Bethany Hamilton probably took around 2 months to write and another month or two to do the revisions. So it completely varies. But yeah, this baby here, this one's a little bigger, 300 pages. There's a lot for you guys to dig into here. So this one took about 9 months. And then from there, there's probably another year or so where my publisher makes it into an actual book and works on marketing and publicity and sending out to people to read early. So there's a lot that goes on after I'm done my part of writing the book. So when it's all said and done, from for a book to hit shelves and for you guys to purchase it, it probably takes around 2 years. So those are just three of the main questions that I get. If you guys have any other questions for me, I would love to answer them. And if you happen to hop over to my website, jennilwalsh.com, there's a place for you on my contact page to send me any more questions that you guys have. But for now, I would love to give you some recommendations on more books to read because we can never have too many books to read, right? So, recommendations. Now, I'm really excited because I'm actually going to share two books that haven't come out yet, but I was really fortunate to read them early. And what I'm going to end up doing is reading the back of the book for you to give you a general idea, and then I'll tell you what I like about it. So, the first book is called The Magical Imperfect by Chris Barron. And it says, for fans of wonder, Chris Barron's The Magical Imperfect is an affecting middle grade story of two outcasts who become friends. Eaton has stopped speaking since his mother left. His father and his grandfather don't know how to help him. His friends have given up on him. When Eaton is asked to deliver a grocery order to the outskirts of town, he realizes he's at the home of Molia, also known as the Creature. Molia stopped going to school when her acute eczema spread to her face and the bullying became too much. As the two become friends, other kids tease Eaton for knowing the Creature, but he believes he might have a cure for Molia's condition. If only he can convince his family and hers to believe it too. Even if it works, will these two outcasts find where they fit in? Now, I really, really loved this book. Um, what's really cool about this book is it's told in verse. And if you guys haven't read any books in verse yet, it is such a treat. It's such a fun way of reading, and Chris Barron does it so well. The words of the book are written in such a way where it just propels the story forward. It's a lot like poetry, and you find yourself just creating a rhythm and a cadence as you're reading, and it's such a fun way to read. There's other parts of the story that are really cool too. There is, and I don't think this is a spoiler, there are signs of an earthquake coming throughout the book, and it builds and builds and builds as the story comes. And that was a really fun part of the book to have that tension and that wonder of, oh my God, is the earthquake actually going to hit? Another fun thing is a little bit of magic that's in the book. And then Eaton is actually really into baseball, and his dad's into baseball. So there's these fun baseball facts thrown throughout the book as well. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it. The Magical Imperfect is such a good book. It's coming out in a couple months. Let me double check here when it is coming out. It's coming out in June 15th. So put this one on your radar and definitely keep an eye out. Now, the second book I'm going to jump over to this one. It's by my friend Lindsay Curry. Uh, it's called What Lives in the Woods. And I'm going to read the back of this one too. For fans of Small Spaces and the Goosebumps series by R.L. Stine comes a chilling ghost story about a girl living in the decrepit and creepy mansion who discovers something in the woods is after her. All Jenni Anderson wants from her summer is to sleep in, attend a mystery writing workshop, and spend time with her best friend. But when Jenni's father, a respected restoring expert in Chicago, surprises the family with a month-long trip to Michigan, everything changes. They aren't staying in a hotel like most families would. No, they're staying in a mansion, a 26-room, century-old building surrounded by dense forest, Woodmore Manor. But unfortunately, the mansion has more problems than a little peeling wallpaper. Locals claim the surrounding woods are inhabited by mutated creatures with glowing eyes. And some say campers routinely disappear in the woods, never to be seen again. As terrifying as it sounds, Jenni can't shake the feeling that there's something darker, another story she hasn't been told. When the creaky floors and the shadowy corners of the mansion seem to take on a life of their own, Jenni uncovers the wildest mystery of all. There's more than one legend roaming Michigan, and they definitely aren't after campers. It's after her. So creepy, right? And if you guys haven't read any books by Lindsay Kerr yet, she is the master of spooky. And what I loved about What Lives in the Woods is the mystery. So Jenni loves Agatha Christie, and it really comes through in the book and the way she thinks and the way she problem solves. And what Lindsay Curry has done really good in this book is putting some red herrings. So you're going to be guessing the entire book about what lives in the woods. It's a really fun book. This one comes out in September, and I can't wait for you guys to read this one and Chris Barron's, and definitely put both of them on your radar. And maybe your teachers, if they reach out to the authors, could even get their hands on some early copies for you guys to check out. So I hope you guys like this recommendation. I hope you enjoyed spending your time with me on World Read Aloud Day. Thank you so much. And let's stay in touch. I would love for you guys to reach out with any questions, like I said. And yeah, this would be awesome. Thanks, guys. Bye.